and that is the Connecticut River directly in front of us.
Displaying the glory of God's creation by visiting every state park, national park, and national forest in the contiguous 48 states. Welcome to Parking Full Time with Big Dave the Parker.
Welcome back to Parking Full Time. I am Big Dave, the parks professor. We're crossing US 5 here. We are at Wilgus State Park. We are in southeastern Vermont. A little bit of a steep area there. Sorry, I had to watch where I stepped, so I couldn't watch where I was aiming the camera. Today is Friday, September 15th. And the temperature right now is a glorious 59 degrees. Like I have in mind here, it's going to be a double loop. Right now we're on the west side of US 5. And this leads up to a couple of trails, the Ridge Trail and the Pinnacle Trail. So we're going to check those out. Also on the east side of US 5, there is an interesting area that actually is unique in the state of Vermont. And we're going to go and check that out too. So that's the plan. Let's get to it. It's about 20 minutes later, and we've come up some quite steep and slightly rocky areas. And we have made it to the main overview here on the Pinnacle Trail. And that literally is it. That is the main overlook on the Pinnacle Trail. Nothing else to see up here other than some nice woods. That is the Connecticut River down there. And I mentioned that there is something unique about this park. It has to do with the Connecticut River. And so at this point, what we're going to do, you can continue going around this loop, the Pinnacle Loop. We've been following the blue blazes, as you see on that birch tree up there. But I also want to explore the nature trail down along the river. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around here. I'm going to go back down the way that we came, back down to the park office. And then we will explore the area along the river. We're not back down to the river yet, but just to show you some of the terrain we've been dealing with. We went up and then just moments ago came back down. That bit right there. As I said, it is somewhat rocky and also quite steep. But we've dealt with it, and we've actually dealt with the worst of it now. The worst of it is that bit and the bit just on up from that. And so we are still going down, making our way down towards the river. We made it back down the Pinnacle Trail. We also added on a little loop called the Ridge Loop. That's a short loop, nice walk through the Vermont pines. No real unique scenery on that trail though. And we have made it down to the start of the nature trail. And that is the Connecticut River directly in front of us. Now I said there was something unique about this park, and it had to do with the Connecticut River. So this is actually the only state park in Vermont that is located directly on the Connecticut River. Which is kind of amazing when you think about it, because the Connecticut River basically forms the eastern boundary of Vermont. Yet this is the only developed state park on the Connecticut River. So I think that's interesting. So I'm going to sit here for a few minutes, admire the river, and then we'll start heading around the nature trail. We're coming around to the end of the nature trails loop. This trail is just a nice short little trail along the river. And that is the Connecticut River there through the trees to my right. And when we get back to the start of the nature trail loop, then we'll be back to the parking lot, and so we'll be at the end of this hike. This is a nice little hike and a nice little park. This park was developed by the Civilian Conservation Corps back in the 1930s. That looks like an old fireplace of some type there. And so this is an old park. And it's a nice park. It's a small park, but a nice park. It's only about 5 minutes off of Interstate 91. It's at Interstate 91 exit 8. And so if you're coming through Vermont and want a leg stretcher hike or maybe a little bit more, then this is really a nice park to come to. I want to thank you for watching. Parking full time would not be anything without the people who watch. I fully realize that every day, and I heartily thank you every day. Also, as a reminder, I do not take any monetary compensation for anything produced for this project. And so therefore, all I get for doing this are your likes, your subscribes, your views, and your comments, and I do appreciate all of those. Those encourage me to keep making these videos, keep doing these hikes, and keep bringing more of this sort of thing your way. So I'm going to cut this video now. Until next time, I am Big Dave, the Parks Professor, for Parking Full Time, from Wilgus State Park in southeastern Vermont. Have a great afternoon, take care, and Lord bless.